and welcome back to another episode of Prep Talk podcast. In this episode, we focus on AP psychology. Get ready for a fun filled episode on understanding the human mind, and to take this podcast further, we have with us Harsha Dabas, Tutela Psychology faculty. Hello, Harsha, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, let's start with the first question. So, first and foremost, I would like to understand what AP psychology is and what all aspects of psychology does this particular AP subject covers.
Okay, so psychology is a beautiful, beautiful subject. If I ask you, does psychology have a practical application anywhere in our lives? The answer would be yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's in our social life, occupational, and personal life, right? So it's important to understand our cognitive functions. How do we learn? As a student, that's a necessity. And when we compare it to other sciences, it's still much younger or recently developed. So, therefore, lots to achieve in the field. AP psychology covers the breadth of subject, everything from the roots of psychology to the methods we use to develop theories, biological and psychological changes that occur in human beings from conception to death, our personality, how we are different or alike to other people, or how our behavior changes in social settings, mental disorders and therapies. All these things come under the purview of AP psychology. We can see psychology now in sports, aviation, forensics, and other numerous fields.
So, moving on to the next question, what is the exam structure of AP psychology and what are the scoring topics of the subject?
So, AP psychology have two sections. Section 1 is of 100 MCQs, which we have to solve in 70 minutes. And section 2 is FRQ, which we have to solve in 50 minutes. The one FRQ will be about research and where we have to analyze and interpret the qualitative data. And the second one will be on applying the theoretical framework into a real life situation.
Okay.
Scoring topics will be clinical psychology, cognitive psychology, research, as well as biological basis. But in general, students have some kind of a mental block when it comes to research. But once you understand it, you can never lose marks in it.
All right. So, what are the complex and easy topics of AP psychology? And would you say the scoring topics are also the most difficult ones in this subject?
Scoring topics are where there is no subjective interpretation of the theories. Okay. Complex will be perception or like developmental psychology because they are a bit tricky because every psychologist have something new to say about it. And if a student struggles with remembering names, then I would say history and biological basis will be complex for that particular student.
Okay.
Easy would be personality and social psychology because you can relate to them very easily.
All right. So, what is it is often taken into consideration that AP psychology is a fairly easy subject as compared to the rest of the APs that are there. So, how would you rate the difficulty level of this particular subject?
I would say average because even if many students pass the exam, the class might be challenging because of the amount of ground the subject covers and the complexity of it. Overall, the content of AP psychology is pretty manageable, but compared to other AP classes, it's significantly less overwhelming and less complex.
All right. So, do you think it is necessary for a student to take, have a mentor for the subject, or is it okay if they do it on their own? Because we often see students doing AP psychology on their own.
If a student have a very excellent reasoning skills, they can do it if they make an effort enough. But having a mentor makes things easier.
Right.
It doesn't have to make it overloading on yourself. It will get exhausting because there is a lot of theories to cover, and that's why I would recommend a mentor.
We know the financial benefits, the credit benefits that are associated with taking APs, and all the college profile benefits that students have. I want to understand in what majors does AP psychology help the students?
Okay, so psychology is not a restricted subject to any field or any industry. It's a very diverse subject. It can be used from fashion to forensic psychology to organizational settings in MNCs. and you can have a full blown career out of psychology if you take it in your higher studies. You can be a psychiatrist, you can be a psychologist, and in psychologists there are different purviews to it. So you can be a clinical psychologist, a counseling psychologist, a developmental psychologist who only deals with children and adolescents, and you can also go into rehabilitations as well. And there are 60 different majors where AP psychology will help. To name a few, there is criminology, there is marketing and journalism, and forensics, and fashion industry as well. Wherever you have to deal with human and in a social setting, and you need to have interpersonal skills, AP psychology will help you.
So students just not give one AP, right? They go for different APs to strengthen their college profile. And since you just spoke that AP psychology is so diverse, what other AP subject complements AP psychology better?
So with AP psychology, AP research and statistics goes really well. And if a person wants to go in a neuroscience field, or maybe like I said rehabilitation, AP biology also helps.
Okay, so it really depends on what major they are looking ahead with. So second AP could be decided on that factor. Okay. All right. When should a student start with the prep? In like what class?
So by junior year, many high school students have taken other AP classes, and they can compare their experience in those classes with AP psychology.
Okay. So moving on to a last question. What are some tips that you would like to share with the students so that they can better prepare for the exam and score like a 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 in AP psychology?
Okay, so the first tip I would say is to know how, in less time and effort, they can generate optimum results. So,
Smart work better than hard.
so having active recall or spaced repetition in their studies, that they are scientifically proven to give you the optimum result in less time.
Okay.
And AP psychology needs the understanding of the concept to the level where you can apply it to the real life situation. So without that, FRQ is going to be a struggle, and you will not get 5 out of 5 by just having a rote learning. Third, I would say try visualizing before sleep. Everything from studying to practicing to giving the exam and getting a score. It's scientifically proven, even sportsmen use this before their game. But no, it won't work without your effort or without doing something, doing a work for it. Okay? Then the last one I would say, use retrospective method for revision instead of conventional revision methods. So this retrospective method encourages us to think of our studying in terms of topics instead of time, and it accounts for any unpredictable events that could offset our entire calendar. Okay, and I understand that everyone is different and timetables do work for some people, but if you're finding that your standard prospective timetable doesn't really work, then perhaps try the retrospective spreadsheet system.
All right, so that was quite insightful. With this, we end our today's podcast. Thank you so much, Harsha, for answering all our questions.
Thank you for having me, and it's been a pleasure.
Same here. So, to all the listeners, we hope this podcast was helpful for you guys. And if you have any questions related to AP psychology, please mention them in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.